Good evening. Hey, it's Linda Anderson here from Linda Lou Creates, and thanks for joining me tonight. I want to give you first a heads up. My oldest son, Philip, went visiting this weekend with friends out in Philadelphia, and I'm expecting him home any moment now. So if you hear doors opening, slamming, chatter, you'll know that Philip's home. So anyway, just a heads up. So hey, thanks again, like I said, for joining me. And I've been kind of having a few struggles lately getting creative. So one thing that's nice being a demo, the Stampin' Up provides on their website some ideas for different bundles, and the one that they recently shared with us was for the Evergreen Elegance Bundle. And if I say Evening Evergreen, which is one of the new in colors, you'll know what I mean. It's supposed to be this instead. It's the stamp set and the punch. So these are used on these two cards. I changed things ever so slightly from what the directions are that Stampin' Up gave us. So just a little bit of a change. Here is the samples from them, and they look pretty similar, but like I said, I have changed it just a little bit. So let me show you what I've done. So okay, let's get stuff put away, and I'm going to start with this one. So Pool Party Red and Green. That says Christmas, doesn't it? So anyways, let me get the supplies here, the cardstock. I'm actually using Coastal Cabana. So I have my top folding card, 11 by 4 1/4. Inside I went ahead and stamped the tree and the sentiment then on that one. I have a piece of this is the Subtles 6 by 6 designer series paper, and this one is Pool Party, and this measures 3 inches by 4 3/4, and I went ahead and stamped the evergreen boughs on either side using Pool Party ink then, so that just a little tone on tone there. I have the tree out of that, see, I almost said Evening Evergreen, Evergreen Elegance stamp set. This is Granny Apple Green, Poppy Parade are the inks. The white, 2 by 3 3/4. Of course, I had to mat it because I love my layers, so that means it's Poppy Parade, just 1/8 of an inch bigger, 2 1/8, 3 7/8. So I have then also my sentiment strip, so just cut down to the size of the sentiment. So that's Bermuda Bay that I used there. So, all right, let me just bring the card base in, and here we go. So what I did, obviously, let me just get this inked up for a second and then kind of show you what I'm thinking about doing here. Sometimes I like to change things up from what my sample is. Here, obviously, on the sample, I put the designer series paper at an angle. This time I'm going to try going straight up and down. Ooh, she's really, really going out on a limb here, huh? Being rogue, I know. But anyway, so here it is. So just thought I'd just change it up a bit. Now, I went ahead, like I said, to save some time, have my dimensionals on the back, all 52 of them. And I will get the paper off there so I can stick this down. So this card actually could be done, you know, in multiples. You could certainly cut up your paper, and you know, the fact that it's 3 across, you'll get 2 out of each of the 6 by 6 pieces. So let's see, I'm still going to put this over here. Yeah, there we go. Now for the sentiment, I am going to cross it over the tree a little bit, and then I'm going to add some dimensionals over here just to make sure that it stays kind of popped up. So let me do that. I am needing to find some dimensionals. Here we go. So there we go. And just let me put a little adhesive here where it's going to overlap onto over the tree. So this way I can set this across as far in as I want, and there we go. Let me just add a couple embellishments if I can find them. Here they are. It's the Wonderful Gems. These were a fan favorite from last holiday catalog, and they brought them back. So that's kind of exciting if you have some. If you don't, what's stopping you? These are great. You know, just that little hint of glitter in there. It just is really fun. So I am going to pop those down, and that's it. That is it for the embellishments, and look, that's it for the card. If you are going to do ones like this in multiples, you can certainly eliminate the embellishments. That way you don't have to worry about dropping them in the mail or anything like that. These would be perfect to then just send out without those. So, all right, tell me in it, which way do you like it? On the angle or straight up and down? I don't know. I like them both. Anyway, okay. No time now to decide. So here is card number 2. This one is going to make use of that punch. So let's get started with the supplies you're going to need then for this. So here we go. I have a card base. It is Poppy Parade. This time it is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I did not fold it and burnish it yet because we're going to do some stamping directly onto the card base. So this way it's going to be nice and flat for me. I just have a piece of white cardstock, just some scrap there to just show you with the punch what we're going to do. Now, I went ahead and did some stamping. Again, Poppy Parade Pool Party out of the Evergreen Elegance stamp set. I got it right this time. Anyway, the white is 4 3/8 by 3 1/8. So, of course, I had to do my layering. Excuse me. So I went with Coastal Cabana. So it's 1/8 of an inch bigger. 4 1/2, 3 1/4. So before I go ahead and adhere these two down, I'm going to do a little something here. First of all, I have a tickle in my throat. Sorry about that. You know, when I changed my mind, before we get to that, I am going to grab some scrap paper and I'm going to stamp my card base. So this is Poppy Parade card base, or cardstock rather, Poppy Parade ink. I seem to have put away all of my stamps, so let me get them out. I am not prepared at all here, am I? I just thought I was. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, as always. I really do love it when you guys stop in to join me here. I just love so much sharing with you. So, I wanted to be sure and do just that in the Christmas spirit, right? So, anyway, okay. I've got my stamps now. Here, this is, you know, I like to do this. I have to do it sideways. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up in the Poppy Parade ink. Now there's the one tree, tone on tone. Now I'm going to go ahead and stamp it again so I can get 2 stampings out of it. Now I don't know if you can tell, but look how cool that is, that is the 2 different shades of the red then. So I guess you would rather look at it straight on, huh? So, all right, so let's get this one up here, and then I will do a second stamping here. Now, just notice I'm just kind of going haphazard with it. I have really no rhyme or reason as to where I am stamping these things. Now, the only thing that I want to say is to be very, very careful is if I were to stamp it again where it hung off the cardstock here, there is going to be a harsh line. Let me just show you. I'm going to ink or stamp this directly onto my scrap paper. And, all right, apparently I didn't do it enough. Let me try it again. So here, I am very much off the cardstock there. So I have this very harsh line of ink right there. So if I went back onto my card base or onto my cardstock, I would see that. So be very aware of where you're stamping if you want to stamp it again onto your card base. All right. So let me go ahead and get the other tree in here real quick. And let's pop that. And here. So here's what I'm going to do. There, I don't want to come back to my card because I'll have that harsh line. So what I'm going to do is re-ink it. I will stamp it off the whole thing and then come back to my card base. All right, does that look foresty enough to you? I think I'm going to be done there because we are going to cover quite a bit of that up. So, all right. So now, let me move all of my inky stuff out of the way. Now I can go ahead and I can fold this up. All right. Inside, I already have the inside stamped. It's my 5 1/4 by 4 with just, you know, Merry Christmas and one of the trees for the inside. Now, let's get to punching real quick. Let me move this and then bring in the punch. And I have my piece of white. Now, I'm going to just slide it in. Honestly, it doesn't matter where you slide it in. Let's just go ahead and punch, and I apologize if the camera shakes a little bit. So there's my first punching. So what I want to do is use this sort of as a guide to help me make a nice long strip of evergreen trees. So you can see over here on the right, I can line those up, those trees, hold them in place, and now I've just got this continuous line of trees going. All right, so now I need to get this side in and punched. So let's go ahead, line those up, punch. Let me do one more. See, I'm lining it up with the gray. Oop, not there. I need to bring it in. Ah, there we go. All right, I'm just gonna call it the end right now. Okay, so there's my nice long string of evergreen trees. Pretty cool, huh? So what we're gonna do, let me bring my scrap paper back. I actually have, I punched out a couple strips of this because I'm gonna do 2 different techniques on the strips themselves. First of all, I have Granny Apple Green ink. I'm just going to do direct to paper. Now, these are kind of delicate, so be careful. Don't mush down and pull your ink pad across these trees. I found that if I just kind of pounced, I didn't risk tearing them. And I was okay with some of the white showing through of the cardstock. Keep in mind, you can always cut it out of green if you would rather. And here we go. So that is the first technique. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. The second technique, like I said, I have a couple already that I have punched out ahead of time. I want something that's a little bit softer. Let me make sure I don't have a bunch of ink on my fingers. But as you can see, it's sort of a 2-tone of green. That's still Granny Apple Green on both of those trees in there. So let me just go ahead. I have one of my blender brushes. And again, be very careful so that you're not tearing this. It's kind of delicate. But I'm loading up my brush and getting in there. I like to go in a circular motion, and I like to go in both directions. That way I make sure I hit everything. All right. I even found that if I kind of pounced, I got a little bit of sort of visual texture there. If you don't like it, go back in and go with your circular to try and fill it in. All right, so let me get this all out of the way. And let me wipe my hands off because I know I got the minky there. All right, so here is what I did with the blending brush. And here is what I did direct to paper. All right, so you can see that we have two different colors of ink. So the shading is right there, all you need. So let's go ahead and adhere these two layers of trees together. So I'm just going to, right along the bottom. Now we only need a portion of this to fit across that piece of white cardstock that I have for the front of the card. So that's why I'm not getting too technical with it here. So I will set this one on top, making sure that it's kind of, you can see the ones behind. Pretty cool, huh? Now let me bring in my piece of white. This is the piece that measures 4 3/8, 3 1/8. So, oh, before I do that, there was one more thing I wanted to do. Where's my paper? Here it is. Here's my scratch paper. With whatever ink that's left on my brush, I'm just going to do a little bit right along the bottom here. And the reason being, in case I don't want the white to show down there, I want it to kind of blend in and be part of the green trees. So let me just go ahead and put that down. Nothing, you know, just a little bit of green. All right, so there we go. Now we're good. Now I can get ready, and I'm going to add some adhesive and see where that at the bottom does show a little bit. That's why I added that green ink, just to make sure that I had that well hidden. So, all right, so let me get some ink on, or ink, yeah, how about some just glue instead? Okay, here we go. I don't know if I have long enough. Okay, so now we can get ready to build this card. Once you get this part done, it's home free from there. All right, so let me go ahead and just cut off the excess here. Oops. And then cut off what overhangs here. And now this is going to go down to that piece of Coastal Cabana that's just 1/8 of an inch bigger. So that means it's 4.5 by 3 1/4. Yeah, I went with Coastal Cabana. You're gonna laugh at this. I couldn't find my pool party cardstock, so I'm like, fine, I'll just use the Coastal Cabana. I really didn't look very hard, but yeah, that's how that happened. So anyway, because this is pool party ink, usually I try and, but it's still sort of in this, you know, it's still in the same color family or whatever I want to say. So, all right, time for some dimensionals. I'm going to pop this up. And everyone knows I love my dimensionals. So here we go. Putting on a tremendous amount. I know, but I love it. There we go. Okay, let's get this ready to put on the card. Now, I opted not to use any embellishments. I just wanted the scene to take front and center on this. So here we go. So there it is. Now this is a little bit more of a stepped up version. The other card, like I said, it was one that you could certainly mass produce on this one. So whether it's, you know, on an angle or if it's cockeyed like some people that I know. I don't know. I go with the cockeyed. That way I don't have to feel stressed to have to make things straight. But I like this one version too. So anyway, so here are the two cards using the Evergreen Elegance Bundle. Again, like I said, Stampin' Up provided the ideas, and I just kind of changed it up a little bit to suit myself. So yeah, if you ever, don't be afraid to use things that you see, Pinterest or other ideas like that, and then make them your own. So anyway, thank you again for joining me, guys. Philip obviously is not home because it hasn't gotten noisy here. So anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you guys next week. Alrighty, bye now.